Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2022 Ricardo Report NFL Mock Draft. I'm Chad Ricardo, and joining me now, our Ricardo Report NFL Mock Draft expert, Mr. Ryan Donnelly. Ryan, tonight promises to be a fun and exciting event.
It's going to be really exciting.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, Ryan. This is a team that has phenom Trevor Lawrence. He had an up and down first season. This team really doesn't have a ton around him. They've got a new coaching staff, new general managers, etc. What do you think of this team?
They need a lot of things, offense and defense wise. I think Trevor Lawrence will definitely do better next year, and I think overall they'll do better than they did this year.
The pick is in. The Jacksonville Jaguars, with the number 1 overall pick, go with Aiden Hutchinson. No big surprise there.
Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a really good pick for them on the defensive side. They need a lot of pass rush. He's a real strong, flexible guy. He's really explosive, has really good hands, and I think that's just what they need on defense.
I happen to agree with you. Moving on to the number 2 pick, the Detroit Lions are now on the clock. The Lions are a team who has been one of the more moribund franchises in all of the NFL for years to come. There were points last year in which this team, though, began to show some life.
The team, they suck. Honestly, they just suck. They don't have a lot of things going for them. Dan Campbell, he can bring more to the team, but overall, just roster-wise, they don't have a lot of things going for them.
The Detroit Lions pick is in. The Lions go with Trayvon Walker, Georgia.
He's really good. He's really athletic. He's really big. He's quick. He has really good ability to shed blocks, and I think that's what they want on defense, and they'll get a lot out of him. He has a really high potential, really high ceiling, and I think he'll be really good.
You take a look at a young man like him who possesses that kind of size with that kind of strength and speed. Ryan, I think he ran a 4.5 40. When you do that at 270, you certainly project to be a big-time student athlete. We wish him all of the best of luck at that next level. The Texans are on the clock with this pick. The Texans, this of course is a team that is still attempting to recover from the Deshaun Watson situation. They brought a couple of new quarterbacks in. They'll have a new head coach.
I think it'll be nothing but getting better at this point. I think Davis Mills has a really good future. I think they have a bunch of guys that have a lot of potential, and I think only thing from here is for them to get better.
The pick is in. The Houston Texans, with the 3rd overall pick, go with Ike Ekwonu from North Carolina State.
He's a really good player, really good offensive lineman. He can fit, honestly, any blocking scheme. He's quick. He's really violent off the ball, and I think that's exactly what they need on the offensive line.
Of course, in this top 10, top 12 picks, 3 offensive tackles are projected to go. Ike is thought to be by many to be the best amongst them, certainly considered to be the top run blocker amongst those linemen, so we'll see how that turns out. On the clock now with the number 4 pick, the New York Jets. Over the span of the last 6 years, they are tied for the fewest wins total with my New York Giants, who are picking right after this. What do you see for the Jets?
They don't have a lot going for him other than Zach Wilson. I think he does have potential.
Offense and defense, this team is in need on both sides of the ball. Coach Robert Saleh seems to have them headed in the right direction, and the pick is in for the New York Jets with the 4th overall selection in the 2022 NFL Mock Draft. The Jets select Kayvon Thibodeau of Oregon. Ryan, I was hoping he'd be there for the Giants at 5 or 7. The Jets take him. Why?
He is honestly one of the best players in the draft. I think the best edge out of everyone. He's strong, explosive, plays really hard. That's what the Jets need on defense.
Just months ago was projected to be the number 1 overall student athlete taken, and they're not student athletes anymore. They're very high-paid professionals now. But if you can get him at number 4, you've got to walk away feeling good about that, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Moving on to the number 5 pick, the New York Giants are on the clock. Ryan, I make no bones about this. I see that you've got Atlanta Falcons in your backdrop. I'm a Giants fan. We've got 2 picks here in the top 10. The number 5 is going to be our first. We are tied with the Jets for the fewest victories in the last 6 years.
They got new coaching staff. I think that could do them well. If they build around Daniel Jones, that could really help their offense. But they need to get Saquon out of there. I don't know what Saquon's still doing there.
All of the draft talk is that we're going to be looking at an offensive lineman at either the number 5 or number 7 pick. We'll see about that. And now the pick is in with the number 5 pick in the 2022 Ricardo Report NFL Mock Draft. The New York Giants select Evan Neal, offensive tackle from Alabama.
I think he's perfect to protect Daniel Jones, and he's a great run blocker too. He's huge, 6'7". He's a lot quicker after he lost 15 pounds. He has great body control. He faced great competition in college, and I think he's what the Giants need on offensive line.
Of course, he'll be slated to fill in at that right tackle position. We've got a left tackle and Andrew Thomas, who we hope to be there for years to come. Up next, we've got the Carolina Panthers. They'll be on the clock with the number 6 pick. Of course, the Panthers, they've got questions at quarterback. Do they want to run it back another year with Sam Darnold?
I don't think Sam Darnold can get it done. I think they need to address quarterback in this draft, especially for DJ Moore. He needs a good quarterback. He's a really good receiver, just not with Sam Darnold.
And actually, the pick is in right now, so we'll find out. With the number 6 pick in the 2022 Ricardo Report NFL Mock Draft, the Carolina Panthers select, Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty.
He's a really good quarterback. He's a great dual threat guy, has a great arm, really big arm. And what I like about him is how he can see the blitz. He can recognize blitz and get out of there. He has good speed, he has decent elusiveness, and can get the ball downfield. And I think that's what the Panthers need in that offense.
We talk about Malik Willis, and one of the things with him is you look at the school that he went to, and many say, oh, Liberty. He went to Liberty. He could not be that good of a guy, otherwise how'd he end up at Liberty? It's key to keep in mind that Malik Willis began his collegiate career at Auburn. On the clock with the 7th pick, again, my New York Football Giants. We took Evan Neal, offensive tackle out of Alabama, with that number 5 pick. Gotta think that we're likely to address the defensive side of the ball.
They could do edge, they could do corner, they could do safety, they could do anything on the defense here.
The pick is in. We'll find out now. With the number 7 overall pick in the Ricardo Report 2022 NFL Mock, the New York Giants select Ahmad Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati.
He's easily the best corner in the draft. He's tall, he's big, he has good size, he has long arms, he's really competitive. He only let up 6 yards per reception last year, and I don't think any touchdowns, and I think that'll be really good for the Giants defense.
Ahmad Sauce Gardner is where it is that we go. On the clock now with the number 8 overall pick are your Atlanta Falcons. It seems like just yesterday you all were in the Super Bowl. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, Ryan.
It's not looking good. Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Olamide Zaccheaus, our number 1 receiver. Yeah, Calvin Ridley just betting his money. It's not looking good, offense or defense.
Plenty of holes, and the pick is in. The 8th overall pick, Atlanta Falcons select Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson coming off of the board. A lot of people saw this potentially coming.
He's the best receiver in the draft. I mean, yeah. I'm not saying that because Ohio State's my favorite college team. I really think he is. He plays fast. He can get the jump balls pretty well. I mean, his last 3 games, he had 27 receptions, 371 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's for 3 games, that's incredible. I think he'll fit well on the Falcons scheme.
And the wide receiver market in free agency is exploding. So if you can get one of these top-notch young men on a rookie contract, you've got to feel good about that. The Seahawks are on the clock. This, of course, is a team now be without Russell Wilson. Kind of in a rebuilding phase, would you say?
Yeah, definitely in a rebuilding phase. The offensive side of the ball is what they need to go for here. whether that be quarterback, offensive line, maybe even receiver, because there's teams looking to trade for DK Metcalf and maybe even Tyler Lockett.
Got to make that decision whether you're going to tear it all the way down, try to rebuild while winning a few games, and with that, the pick is in. With the 9th overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks select offensive tackle Charles Cross, an outstanding pass-blocking offensive tackle. Why does he fit the Seattle Seahawks?
They definitely need to protect whoever they're going to have at quarterback, whether that's Drew Lock, Geno Smith. I think he will, if he works on the run block, he could be really good, but he has great hands, great body control, obviously great pass blocking.
New York Jets are now on the clock with the 10th overall pick. We took a look at the young man that they drafted at that number 4 slot. They got Kayvon Thibodeau. They have their edge rusher. What might they be looking at here?
Definitely, I think, offensive side of the ball here, especially with the stacked receiver class.
And the pick is in. With the number 10 overall selection, the New York Jets select Drake London, wide receiver from University of Southern California. Fight on, young man.
He's a big receiver. He can get those jump balls. I think if Zach Wilson wants to air it out deep, have a jump ball, Drake London's that guy to catch it.
Every team, especially those with a young quarterback, look for those big receivers to show up, especially down there in the red zone. Turn 3s into 7s. The Washington Commanders are on the clock. This is a team that is going through a lot. What should the Washington Commanders be looking for?
I don't think they're in a rebuilding phase right now. They're looking to win now. Here is a receiver spot, I think, and honestly, all they could take. Pair a good deep threat with Terry McLaurin.
Not so long ago that Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate, and now the pick is in with the 11th overall pick. The Washington Commanders select Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. Why'd they do it?
He's also a really good deep threat receiver. He's a little bit faster, maybe a little bit better routes than Drake London. They get a good receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin.
Jameson Williams, of course, an absolute weapon. I have heard him compared to, I didn't say this as a Giants fan, but I've heard him compared to a young Odell Beckham. If Williams ever pans out to be anywhere near a young Odell Beckham, the Washington Commanders will be happy about that. On the clock now, the Minnesota Vikings with the 12th overall pick. This is a team that...
Ricardo report, bruh!